This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good afternoon, my Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for October 6, 2023. And in the news this afternoon, wife unknowingly delivered a cash to hitman for her murder. The convicted fisherman contracted by Everton Beach Stout McDonald to murder his wife disclosed that he and another man he had hired to carry out the hit made two unsuccessful attempts to kill the woman. McDonald, 68, and his co-accused Oscar Barnes are on trial in the Home Circuit Court for the 32-year-old businesswoman's July 2020 murder. The partially burnt body of Tonya McDonald was found with a throat slashed in her car, which had been set ablaze along a deserted road in Sherwood Forest in Portland on July 20, 2020. The 58-year-old prisoner Devlin Bobla Minot, who is currently serving 19 years and 10 months for his role in the murder plot, testified on Thursday that he reluctantly agreed to kill Tonya after McDonald offered him $3 million. But he told the court that he later made arrangements with Barnes, who he had met on a fishing beach in 2020, to carry out the killing. Minot further testified that a month before the murder, McDonald outlined exactly how he wanted his wife killed. "Him say him no want you to get no gunshot. Him want me to stab her up, cut off her neck," he told the court. "All me have to do is just go up at the house with her and wait till she come out of the car. Me kill her in the yard." The witness said that McDonald also requested not to be informed of the date when the murder would happen. He said that the first attempt on Tonya's life at her home one night was aborted due to her helper's presence. The witness said that he and Barnes had been waiting outside for 2 hours, but when Tonya arrived home, she ran to the grill and knocked, and the helper came to let her inside, so they left. Minot earlier testified that McDonald had shown him around the yard and an exit to an open field to take after committing the murder. In the second attempt, the witness said he lured Tonya to Portland under the guise that she was going to buy a gun, which she had asked him to source for her. According to the witness, McDonald told him after introducing Tonya to him that she wanted a gun to kill the man who was responsible for her father's death. But Minot claimed that McDonald told him that he was the one who had murdered her father. Turning back to the trip, he said that before going to Portland, he went to St. Mary with Barnes, who he had asked to procure the gun, and while there, he called Tonya and told her that he had got the gun and she was to pick it up. The plan was for them to travel to Manchonil, but Barnes later told them to go to Boston instead. When they arrived, he said that Barnes left his car, and when he went in search of him, Barnes told him that the gun was in a fishing boat, but that he could not retrieve it as he was being watched by a woman nearby. The witness said that during that trip, Tonya had given him $500,000 for the gun and said that the money was from both her and her husband. However, he said the money was really to kill her and that he had already told Barnes. "I told him the money to buy the gun is not to buy a gun. It is to kill Miss Mac and take it," he told the court. "I told him that Miss Mac fi get stabbed, her neck fi cut off, and no gun was supposed to use." According to Minot, McDonald later called to inquire what he was doing and was told that he was carrying out a little matter. But McDonald told him that he had just talked to Tonya and that he was lying. The witness said that McDonald later told him that he had instructed his wife to leave and she was on her way home, so they left. Minot will continue his testimony on Monday. NIA in wait and see mode. Bunting says Speaker's appointment flawed. Founding Director of Corruption Regulator National Integrity Action, Professor Emeritus Trevor Monroe, says that the entity is adopting a wait and see response to the holes of discontent in certain quarters over the appointment of Juliet Holness as the Speaker of the House of Representatives, given that the Parliament has oversight for the executive of which her husband, Prime Minister Andrew Holness, is head. Holness was elevated from her post as the Deputy Speaker of the House on September 26 to replace Marissa Dalrymple Philibert, who officially resigned on September 21. The Constitution explicitly provides for Parliament to exercise oversight of the executive. It states that the executive, comprised of the Prime Minister, ministers, and the Cabinet, is the principal instrument of policy responsible for the general direction and the control of the government of Jamaica. The Prime Minister, ministers, and the Cabinet as a whole are collectively responsible for the Parliament. A main function of the Parliament on behalf of the people is to hold the Cabinet, the Prime Minister, and the ministers to account. Wednesday, Monroe, in responding to concerns raised by Leader of Government Business in the Senate, Peter Bunting, about Holness's appointment, said, "We prefer to say that the jury is out, but the jury is not going to be out for a long time. In very short order, the matter will be tested in terms of the Speaker's response and the management of the Parliament. The new Speaker will have to demonstrate that the concerns and the disquiet that many of the public feel, or that they are. We will encourage her to live up to the standing orders of the Parliament and to ensure that the levels of propriety and integrity that are expected, which often have not been observed this time, will be. We intend to encourage that and to criticize when it is not apparent in her conduct," he stated. Bunting, who was present at the unveiling of findings by the corruption watchdog concerning its recently conducted parliamentary oversight project at Mona in St. Andrew on Wednesday, had declared that he disagreed with one of the NIA's conclusions, where it stated that preliminary oversight is not a priority of the government. "I disagree. It is a priority of the government in the sense that suppressing or eliminating parliamentary oversight is a priority of the government. And I say that because any government where the spouse of the head of the executive is appointed to become the head of the legislature as well cannot intend impartial oversight of the executive," Bunting said. He further chided the government for discontinuing the practice of allowing opposition members to chair sessional select committees, replacing it on the basis that they weren't effective. Even when they were chaired by opposition, members of the government often use its majority to frustrate the agenda of those chairing and to prevent or put obstacles in the way. So I would say it is a priority, but the priority is to suffocate, eliminate, or otherwise suppress that oversight, Bunting argued. On Wednesday, Chief Executive Officer of the Jamaica Accountability Meter Portal, Jeanette Calder, in responding to Bunting, said that time will tell whether those concerns are justified. Mrs. Holness actually chairs a number of committees of the Parliament. I have watched how she has handled herself. I haven't heard much complaint. I haven't heard any significant complaints about partiality. As a matter of fact, I have been impressed with the accountability mechanisms that she is attempting to bring to some of those other committees, and if she transfers that to the House, we are looking at improvement," Calder said. "I am going to agree with Professor Monroe that since there is no law against it, what Mrs. Holness has to do is perform in a way that doesn't justify the concerns of Senator Bunting, and so for me, it's always going to be performance above everything. My focus is her performance. I do respect the question of public perception. I do honor some concerns for the extent to which the public of Jamaica believes that there is going to be some possibility of the Speaker of the House acting in an untoward manner, and so I want to watch carefully to see how we deal with that. But if Mrs. Holness is performing, that is what we request of her," she added. The NIA, in the assessment conducted under SANCOS, an European-funded initiative supported by Transparency International, concluded, among other things, that the oversight of the Parliament is significantly debilitated and in urgent need of improvement. According to Monroe, while the legal and the constitutional framework of Jamaica's Parliament makes standard provisions for oversight of the executive, in practice, there was a great variation in the utilization and effectiveness of Parliament oversight of Jamaica's executive. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.